All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with the challenge itself, then cover preparing your acoustic window, tracing the feeder vessels, and pinpointing that crucial perforator vein. After that, we'll get into decoding hemodynamics and finish up with some advanced mapping pro tips. Sound good? Let's go.
Welcome back to GastroVision. Today, we are diving deep into a procedure that, I gotta tell ya, really separates the experts from the novices. We're talking about EUS mapping of gastric varices. So if you're a fellow or a resident looking to truly master this skill, you are in exactly the right place.
So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this really complex procedure and break it down into a simple, step-by-step process. The goal here is to take you from just feeling competent to feeling like a true master. I promise, by the end of this, you're going to have the confidence to tackle even the trickiest cases out there. You know, I'll never forget this one patient from early in my career. We did what I thought was a perfect textbook treatment for her gastric varices. Everything looked great. But then, a few months later, she was back with a massive bleed. And that was a real wake-up call. It made me realize I had to go deeper, to find the real root of the problem. And that's exactly what we're going to learn how to do today.
See, a standard endoscopy, that only shows us the symptom, the tip of the iceberg. But EUS, that lets us see the source, the whole plumbing system hidden underneath. So our mission today isn't just to map a varix, we are here to map a cure.
Think about it like this. A standard scope shows you a leaky faucet. You can see the drip. But EUS shows you the entire plumbing system hidden in the walls. And if you really want to fix that leak for good, you have to find where it's coming from. So today we're going to think like master plumbers. We're mapping the whole system. Look, you wouldn't try to build a house on a shaky foundation, right? Of course not. It's the exact same principle with EUS mapping. Getting your preparation right is the foundation for the entire procedure. If you nail this part, everything else just falls into place so much more easily. So what do you need to do? It's really just two simple things. First, instill about 300 to 500 milliliters of de-aired water. This lets the varices kind of float up and prevents your scope from squishing them. Quick pro tip, use warm water. It's way more comfortable for the patient. Second, you have to use a linear scope. This part is absolutely non-negotiable for tracing and then for therapy. All right, time to put on our detective hats. Think of it like you're following a trail. The splenic vein is the main highway, and the feeder vessels, those are the side streets that are going to lead you right to the culprit. Our job is to follow that trail and find the source of the trouble. Ready to trace? Let's do it. First, find the aorta. Got it? Good. Now, just anterior to that, you'll see the splenic vein. That's our highway. Now what's next? You got it. Rotate clockwise and trace it toward the spleen. And as you're doing that, keep your eyes peeled for those short and posterior gastric veins. Then go the other way, counterclockwise, back to the portal confluence, just to make sure you understand the whole drainage picture. Now, here's a little rule I like, the LG rule. L is for the left gastric vein, which is your main feeder for GOV1 varices, and G is for the gastrorenal shunt. This one's a big deal. It's a large outflow vessel. And here's a huge clinical pearl. If you see a really large GRS, that's often a contraindication for just injecting glue, because it can embolize. You gotta have a different plan. Okay, this is it. This is the moment we've all been building towards. The aha moment. The discovery that changes everything. I still remember the first time I clearly saw one. It was like a light bulb just switched on in my head. And that's what's about to happen for you. To find our target, we have to know our landmark. And that landmark is the muscularis propria, or MP. It's the fourth layer of the gastric wall, and on the ultrasound, it shows up as this nice, dark, hypoechoic band. This is the barrier. This is the line that separates the inside from the outside. And there it is. You're scanning along that dark band of the muscularis propria, and suddenly you see a break, a vessel punching right through it. That, my friends, is what we call the discontinuity sign. That's our target. That's the source. That is our path to a cure. So let's do a quick pop quiz. You see a vessel inside that muscularis propria ring. What is it? A varix or a collateral? That's right, it's a varix, the symptom. And if you see one outside that ring, that's your collateral, the source. And here's another clinical pearl. The size of that collateral is a huge predictor of recurrence. Okay, so we found the who, we've identified the vessels, but now we need to figure out
the why. What is this vessel actually doing? Is it feeding the problem or draining it? To answer that, we have to look at the direction of blood flow. And for that, we need Doppler.
Doppler can look a little intimidating, but honestly, it boils down to a really simple rule. Red is flow coming towards your probe, and blue is flow going away from your probe. So if you see red flow going into the varix, that's your inflow, that's your feeder vessel. If you see blue flow leaving it, that's your outflow, your drain. It's that simple. So what happens when you turn on the color Doppler and it just looks like, well, like a tornado of red and blue pixels? I remember the first time I saw that, I thought my machine was broken, but it wasn't. It's something called aliasing, and thankfully, there's a simple fix that's going to save you a lot of frustration.
The solution is simple. Just crank the PRF, or the velocity scale. Dial it up to around 25 centimeters per second and watch what happens. It's like magic. All that noise just disappears, and suddenly the true high-velocity flow, your feeder, becomes crystal clear. So what if you're still not 100% sure, even after adjusting the Doppler? Well, there's a final confirmation test. Think of it like a truth serum for blood vessels. You just puncture the vessel with a needle, inject some agitated dextrose or saline, and watch where the bubbles go. If you see those bubbles explode into the varix, congratulations, you've confirmed your feeder. Ready to take it up another notch? You've got the fundamentals down. Now let's talk about the pro tips, the little things that are going to separate you from the pack and really take you from competence to true mastery. Okay, here are some red flags you need to look out for. These are signs of high risk for recurrence. Severe periesophageal collaterals, really large perforating veins, I'm talking bigger than 3 to 5 millimeters, and those little hematistic spots on the wall of the varix itself. If you see any of these, you need to be on high alert.
And 2 quick therapeutic game changers. First, using coils with your glue. Think of the coils as a scaffold or a net that helps trap the glue. This is especially important if you have a big gastrorenal shunt, because it seriously reduces the risk of embolization. Second, when you flush your needle, use dextrose 5% or lipiodol, not saline. Saline can cause the glue to harden right inside your needle, and trust me, you don't want that.
So I want to leave you with this question. It's what this is all about. Are you just mapping a varix? Or are you mapping a cure? I'll never forget the look on that patient's face when I could finally tell her that her varices were gone for good. That's the power of what we do. It's not just about finding a vessel, it's about finding a cure and changing a life.
I really hope this explainer gives you the confidence to get out there and tackle even the most challenging cases. If you want to keep learning, make sure you subscribe to GastroVision.